Welcome, guys, to the Creative Mind. This is episode number 9 featuring WD. My name is Andrew Lyko. I am your host today. I am also the founder of Window Kids. For those that don't know, my background is I'm a contemporary fine artist, and I've been doing this full time for a couple years now. Launched the NFT project about 7, 8 months ago. And we're lucky enough today to sit down with David D since he has had some experience with launching his own project. And that's going to be one of the main topics of discussion for today. Not only that, but he had also transitioned into the one-on-one art space. So very, very unique experience that he. But yeah, so for a quick little recap of who we are, Window Kids, we are a fine arts community project, meaning we cater to both artists and collectors. A lot of the stuff that we're doing is based on network, right? Relationships, access. So we're trying to develop this community that has not just tools, but these connections to take their art to the next level. So there's a lot of things that we have going on. We do have a min coming up soon at the end of the month. Hopefully, if all goes to plan. But yeah, today is not about me. Today is not about ODK. Today is about WD and his experiences, and hopefully we can learn a lot of stuff by talking to him. He's a very dope artist. I believe he's been in the one-on-one art space for about 3 months. He just had an all-time high of 30 soul in his last one-on-one sale, so very impressive. He's doing very well in this short period of time. So, WD, you want to come up real quick, man, and kind of just give yourself a brief intro of where you come from, how you got into the space, and how long you've been doing art, all that good stuff.
All right. Hey, what's up, you guys? Can you hear me? I'm out for a walk. I just figured it's a good time to get outside.
Yeah, man, you're loud and clear. You're good.
Awesome. So, yeah, what's up, everyone? My name is Walker, or WD here in Web3. Full name is Walker Dean Howard. So, the WD is kind of a nickname that I had since I was a little kid. I'm born and raised in Montana, Southwest Montana. Grew up outside of town, not a lot of neighbors on a big chunk of land with some siblings. And so, grew up kind of outside in nature, romping around, building snow caves in the winter and building forts in the forest during the summertime with cousins and siblings. And ever since I was a little kid, I was always encouraged to, pick up a pencil and draw. I kind of had a knack for it. Starting, I don't know, basically 3 or 4, I started drawing pirates, cartoons, all that stuff, and never really put the pencil down. Um, yeah, so born and raised in Montana, grew up outside. High school, I got into whitewater kayaking, snowboarding, got hooked on the adrenaline sports a bit. And then in college, I went and studied abroad in Costa Rica for a year and got into surfing. And then that really made a big impact on the last decade of my life. After college, surfing became a big focus for the off seasons. Went to school for graphic design because I never really thought I could be an artist. And so I went the quote safer route. And, with graphic design, I heard that you could do freelance gigs and work remote from the road. And I was like, oh, that sounds cool. So I went and studied that and, started a t-shirt printing company in college with a friend. Always kind of been into the entrepreneurial stuff. But graphic design, although I would get some clients and sold some t-shirts, it never was like my main passion, I would say. I've always really enjoyed like drawing and creating more than getting on a computer and banging out logos or t-shirts designs or stuff like that. But yeah, during the summers, I was a raft guide after college, take people whitewater rafting. And then in the winters, I was a lift operator. And so snowboarding a lot. And then in the spring and fall, the quote shoulder seasons, I would take my laptop with me, do some design work, but mostly just go to cheap countries, live really close to the ground, and just like surf and go for just experiences. So I've traveled all over Southeast Asia, Central America, some bits of South America as well. Yeah, chasing waves and experiences and stuff like that. And yeah, I got into, I ended up in Australia for a few years, in my late 20s after I met my girlfriend and started doing design a lot more. And then an opportunity opened up back in the States to be a graphic designer for a snack company, my girlfriend's snack company. And so we moved back to the States and I got my quote, like first professional real job in my early 30s. So let's see, while I was in Australia a year or two before then, I bought Bitcoin early and during the last bull market for $500 worth or something in 2017. Didn't really think much of it. Didn't know anything about crypto other than I was like, put some money here. It went down right after because I basically bought the top and then forgot about it. And then when the pandemic happened, I was in New Mexico, so I was landlocked and I was just working full time for the snack biz. And I heard about crypto hitting all time high. Bitcoin was hitting like 40K there. And this was early 2021. And like my $500 had turned into like $2,000. And I was like, oh shit, like something's going on here. Like this is crazy. I'm going to start learning about it. So I started learning about crypto and watching YouTube videos. And I'm kind of an adrenaline junkie to begin with. So crypto kind of excited me, the ups and the downs and the volatility of it. The degen side of me kind of got addicted to this gambling, like quote, investing side of things. I started learning about NFTs in February 2021, right when they were just starting. And, this is when Mutant Apes were, zero point 0.5 or ETH or something like that. They were just coming out and there weren't a lot of projects. And I'm big into nature and, a little bit of an environmentalist. I was not super stoked to hear about like the transaction fees that Ethereum was. So I kind of sat on the sidelines in May when Gary Vee was dropping his NFTs and stuff like that. And I was like, man, I don't know about these. It's like such high transaction fees. And so I kind of waited a little bit longer. And then by September, like I think it was August, Solana NFTs kind of popped up and they were like carbon neutral. Like one transaction was equal to like, the same energy use of like one Google transaction or like Google search. So I was like, all right, this kind of seems a little bit more my bag. So I kind of jumped into space and started trading and learning and stuff like that. And then, started thinking about, hey, I got to get going while the getting's good. And I want to try and drop an NFT project. So that kind of brings us partially through the story here. And I know I've just kind of been rambling here, but yeah, that's about that.
No, it's good. It's great, man. One of the things is that I really like about your story is that, you know, uh, you're pretty well traveled, right? So it seems like you like to go out and adventure. Obviously, you love to surf, and I've done some traveling as well. So I know how that affects your creative direction and your inspiration when it comes to your art, right? So it's kind of cool to see that, somebody else really does, it's not all about just staying inside and like, pumping out art and stuff, but you actually like to be outdoors and be in nature and stuff, which we can see it in your art, right? You reference it quite a lot. But yeah, it's kind of interesting, man, because, usually for somebody who's super, super outdoorsy, like to come on and completely come to the decision of like, hey, I'm gonna launch an NFT project, like how did that come to fruition? Like when you first thought of it, was it what you expected? You know what I mean? Like how you had seen it in your head playing out and like the things that you were gonna do as opposed to what actually happened, you know what I mean? Like tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, no, it's definitely launching an NFT project is way more work than it appears. Whether it's a generative like project or it's like a pass based project, there's all these different utilities. But I just knew that at some point the NFT hype would die down, and now living in the bear, and people are still building. And I mean, I'm still very bullish on digital collecting and stuff like that, but I had been building over the pandemic. I jumped on TikTok and was making like flash hand drawn designs. And I had grown, I don't know, up to like 400,000 followers. So in my head, I was like, okay, I have this base of, people that are into these hand drawn designs, and I can probably bridge, let's say, 10,000 of them, 5,000 of them over to Web3. But in all reality, that's not the case, because the barrier to entry into crypto and everything is pretty high. It's very confusing. It's volatile. Uh, there's all these different coins. There's, Dogecoin and Ethereum and Bitcoin. And if you don't, from the outside, it's super confusing. And so I just assumed that since I had this quote following over here, I would have buyers in Web3. And so I was like, I'm going to do a tattoo utility NFT project where you can basically, we'll raise the funds, and then we'll work with the developer to create something where you can connect your wallet, it pulls up your NFTs, and then you can tattoo or customize your NFTs. That was the idea.
To be fair, that's not a bad idea, man. But I can definitely relate where you're coming from. Uh, that's something that I did think about. You know what I mean? In the beginning, when I was thinking about launching ODK, but then as I was part of the collecting side of things, right, and I was into these generative projects due to a friend, I realized, like, bro, none of these people on this side of the fence is gonna give a shit about what I'm doing over here, right? And if they do, is maybe like five, because I have a pretty big following. I don't think a lot of people know that on Twitter or even Web3, but I have like 27K Instagram followers, right? Which I
Mm-hmm.
built due to art, specific graffiti, all the stuff that I've been doing, jackets, all that stuff. But when I launched ODK, like I think I probably promoted it twice, and since then I completely stopped because like, bro, it's not that there's no use. It's just like for the time and the effort and the energy you're putting into trying to market over there to get them to come over here. It's like better put that energy, where the eyes are, right? Where people are already are understanding of the platform of the space. So that's
Uh,
one thing I did realize early on. I was like, nope, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna go ahead and shift my whole dynamic because that's obviously not gonna work.
yeah, I think
But yeah,
I think that's really smart. I think an analogy I have of it is that like crypto world lives up on this cloud, and maybe Web 2 people live down at the bottom of this cliff, and you have to build like 7 or 8 ladders up to the general crypto cloud, and then a ladder over to your project, which is another cloud next to this crypto. So you might as well just work on building one bridge from like the crypto cloud over to your little floating project next to that, versus trying to bring people up this like
exactly.
treacherous journey up the cliff where people are going to fall off and get spooked and get rugged and all of that.
No, 100%. So for those listening in right now, that's one point of advice. If you do have a following or eyes in a different space, don't use it as like, okay, that's gonna be my launching, the way I kickstart everything, right? Instead, just think of it as like extra. So I've had some people that have been following my journey for quite a long time now, who maybe like two or three people trickled in all on their own, right? They found a Discord, they got inside, they figured out how to verify all this stuff, and they're just like, yo, like what now? So when those kind of people come in, then it's like, oh hell yeah, bro! Like let me introduce you. I got you here. This is like the intro. This is how you do things. You have this and that. But other than that, like I wouldn't put that much energy into it, man. But yeah. So yeah, tell us about that project. Like, how did it go? Like from the beginning, how long were you invested into it, right? Like, when did you realize, like, fuck, I either had to change something or, I'm just gonna call it.
So we started it in February of 2022. And this was on the tail ends. I think it was like January we were starting it. And in February, we like built the rest of the team and started putting it together. And by April, we went for launch. So this was on like the coattails coming down off of the most volume, like the highest of all the volume was in January of 2022. It was like insane. And let's see. So the concept seemed pretty good. And I found a developer who was like capable and willing to help put together like the Mint site and everything like that. Um, you know, a lot of it was built through Discord. And looking back, I think it would have been better to just focus just purely on Twitter because managing a Discord is a whole nother beast. You have to have moderators, new people that come in. If they're not seeing a Discord that's like always rolling and crazy, like they like, it's a very like a, it's like this feeding frenzy. You have to continuously like keep engaged and keep moving. And that's not the meta anymore. Like it can be like Discords can be chill, like they can be a lot more like less hypey, but then that was it. Like the Discord had to be moving in order for it to like actually look like a project that was going to do well because it's a flippers market in like the generative or like in the NFT projects in general. Like half the people are there for the art and the vision and the other half are there to like flip and move to the next project. um we built a really cool like Discord team, lots of community, like lots of, a few moderators, a few people who were working on collabs, like collab managers and stuff like this. And things looked from the outside pretty good. We grew our Twitter from like 500 to like 8,000, something like that. We got reached out to by Magic Eden to like do a launch with them, and we decided not to do that because we figured we had it in the bag. And on Mint Day, even though we had like 2,000 people on the whitelist, only a few hundred minted. So it's like you put in all this work and you just don't know for real until Mint Day. Like a lot of like people try and fudge your project, and it's just crazy that like you put in all this work and then on like a day before Mint Day, all of a sudden people are fudding the project for no reason, or for whatever reason, like some small thing, like I don't know. But anyway, basically that's what happened is we had like around 200 people mint. Then our Discord got hacked through one of our moderators. They like allowed some permissions, which is like just like kind of this snowball. So you work all these months putting together the concept, the branding, the websites, keeping the Discord engaged, like, and then on Mint Day, you just don't know. But like all of these things I learned, you know, they're all part of my story and like gotten me to where I am today, like managing teams. Like
100%.
I didn't even know what an NFT was. And then a year later, I was like launching my own project and managing a team of concepts and working with artists to get the art together. And so like all that still is part of like, maybe the
It's
project didn't
experience,
work.
man.
Yeah, it's experience. And like, it's still like, I'm really proud of like, that I was able to pull through rather than be like, oh, I should launch an NFT project and then think about it. Like, I went for it. It was a face plant, but like, that's the way life is. Like, success isn't this overnight thing. You have to like, most successful people have all of these failures that you don't see before they have the success. So yeah,
Yeah,
that
100%.
was that.
Yeah, man. I mean, it takes a lot to launch an NFT project, let alone a project in general, right? But some of the things that I've come to understand myself, like going through the trenches right now, it's just how everything's kind of against you, man. And you know what I mean? It's very, very difficult because the space is so fast, the meta's always changing. It's like you'll never be able to catch it. It's better to kind of do your own thing, and miss out on some opportunities. But all in all, you're sticking to your path, right? To your vision, and I mean, you're building as fast as you can, but without tainting quality and without selling yourself out. So there's a lot of variables, and I feel like this is a very important conversation for people tuning in that are thinking about launching something, it's like we're not saying don't do it. We're saying be very attentive and be very structured, because once you kind of set that foot, or you step inside that room, there's kind of no going back, right? The stuff only gets more hectic, the problems only get tougher, higher, and it's like you said, if you don't know how to manage a team, man, it's like fuck, you're putting yourself in a really really tough situation.
I mean,
I
it,
Um,
totally agree.
oh yeah, go
Go
for
ahead.
it.
yeah.
No, I was just saying I totally agree with what you just said, Lyco. And it's one of those things that you have to just remember. It takes a team. It's not something that you can do by yourself for sure. And so, just always keep in mind that, if you have like a vision that you want to, try and pursue, find others who have that same vision, who share that same goal first before you try and create some type of project or product.
100%.
I
Um,
I agree with that big time. I mean, and most of these projects that have minted, you know, aren't going to deliver on what people are buying in for. So it's like keeping your promises or utility, like just keeping your word on whatever you're promising that you can deliver on whatever happens. In my case, we were going to build this program, where you could customize your NFTs. And since we weren't able to do that, and we did it on Solana, we refunded everyone like 85%. So the mint was 1 SOL. I think we sent everyone like 0.85 Solana back, just because we were like, hey, sorry, we didn't raise we didn't hit that goal of like what we were hoping to hit. We raised like just under around like 20,000. And to do this right, to keep like enough like food on the table, we needed like 50,000 minimum, and we didn't make that. And so instead of like just rugging everyone, we sent it back, and I was out of like, I put up my own money. Like I put up like around $10,000 in a few months worth of work. And I was like, look, this is a learning experience. I'm going to eat that rather than rug everyone. Like I want to have like a good taste in my mouth. And so that's what I decided to do as like the team leader. But you have
that's
other
awesome, man.
but you have other like people in this who are part of your team too, who are working for equity, and they basically like they don't get paid after months of work either, which is hard. I mean, they're not in the hole like me, but like they're still like hoping to get a payday on mint day. So it is like a really tough pill to swallow, but like it's part of it. I think that the NFT space is a great way to raise money, or be found as an artist, or you know pursue whatever dream you've had. Like I've always loved art and drawing, and like I never really thought I could be an artist, but now I've like pivoted to the one of one space, and I'm finding a little bit of success here, and it does feel really good to be like, oh shit, like this is really cool. Random people on the internet are connecting with my story and what I'm creating, and like I'm gonna keep exploring that.
100%, man. And that's like a beautiful thing as well that I love about your story is like, okay, you went for it, you launched an NFT project, you put up your own money, you put up your time, your effort, you know what I mean? And it didn't go as planned, right? It didn't mint out. That's tough. It's tough to bear. And even with all that, you still had the confidence or even the will to come back and be like, "You all right? Well, that didn't work out, but I'm seeing this one-on-one space, and I think this can go a little bit different, right?" And so you took the chance again, right? In a very short amount of time of recovery to be like, "Yo, all right, fuck it, I'm gonna put myself out there again, but this time a little bit more personal." You're more in control because it's all about you and your art, right? So it's like it's way different. I want to give you flowers for that, bro, because that must have been tough to from a mind state to be like, okay, I'm gonna try again in this fucking space and see what happens, to see if people actually resonate with my stuff. So, how has that been? I mean, tell us a little bit about that, like this transition. I know you've been in it like 3 months or so. You just had an all time high today or yesterday. I'm not sure when, but it's been great to kind of discover you and see you flourished now, man. I had no idea that you had an NFT project in the past, right? So, tell us a little bit about that. Like, how's that been now, coming onto this side of the fence and being involved in this community?
Well, I think the reason I'm seeing some success is because it's more authentic and like it's like 100% me versus like trying to like chase a meta of like what I should be doing because the market's hot. And so I'm like purely creating for myself and like whatever I want to create within like the series like guidelines that I've laid out. And I'm not trying to chase like a certain hype cycle. We're in the bear market. And so the reason I came back is because I never left. I like love the space. I'm too bullish on it. Like digital collecting makes a ton of sense to me. Like everyone's on their phones. You look around, you're in a line for coffee. No one talks to each other. They're all scrolling on their phones. Like everyone spends majority of their time on a computer or a phone. Like people don't go outside, which is like a little bit sad, but also it's just the way of the world. It's like phones are super addicting and they feed you like that constant dopamine fix. But like, I don't know, I'm so bullish on NFTs in general and digital collecting that I was like, this feels the most right versus like all of my pursuits that I've done prior, which makes me super excited to like be finding success like pretty quickly, which means I might be onto something here, and this goes to show like, don't stop trying stuff because you will find your footing eventually, but like, you just have to keep trying whatever it is. You have to, and like, it's not going to be instant. Like I've been in crypto for like 2 years and like, yeah, this is not an instant 3-month success. This is all part of like that long story of me learning about this stuff, getting burned, getting rugged, having a failed NFT project, this and that. And now we're kind of starting to hit our stride. But like, I know it's not only up from here. That's just not like, everything comes in sets. There's good days and bad days and everything in between. But like, the more time you spend in the space, the more people you meet, you can't just like sit on the sidelines and like hope something happens. And once you decide to do something, you can't like post 2 things and expect to be famous and be hitting crazy sales either. Like, everything is a hustle if you want it, because everyone else can do it too. So you have to like stay committed, but you have to start,
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those things that I tell people over and over again, and it's something I truly, truly believe in. It's like playing the infinite game, right? It's like everything that I do, whether it be for myself, for ODK, or for anything, man. It really, I try to attack it from a space that it's never gonna end. Like the process, you know what I mean? It's like I'm
Mm-hmm.
always gonna have to do something the next day and the next day and the next day, and I realize that it's it, it's like, yeah, grinding and hustling and that no sleep mentality. Like, yeah, it's cool in little spurts, right? But at the end of the day, like the turtle always wins the race, right? Consistency and showing up every single week and just putting that effort, you know what I mean, that time, that energy, and then just realizing like, yo, like this is your fucking life. Like this is what you signed up for. You know what I mean? Yes, times get tough sometimes, but then again, times get super blessed, right? Like you have some really cool highs. So it's like, if you understand that, then you'll be good. I mean, with anything that you do, whether it be an NFT project or not, for you now it's like transition being a one-on-one artist, and I'm happy to see your success, man. I'm really stoked to see what you do next. Because I know when you literally just started, you made how many one-on-ones was your first series? Was it like 8 or 10?
It
I
was
believe
9. Yep.
9. So
So,
what's next, man? Tell us about your plans a little bit.
so next is kind of like recalibrate and like, I need a little refuel on like the creative inspo. I'm in Seattle currently, was in Montana over Christmas break, so did some snowboarding and got some like winter inspiration. And tomorrow I actually am flying down to Costa Rica for 3 weeks, and I'll do like a little workcation down there. So I'll be working my design job, and I'll be starting my next series, which I think it's not 100% yet. I'm still kind of feeling it out, but I think it's going to be a Skullscapes, which is the similar to the last series, but it's going to be like a volume 2. So it'll be like a snowy, wintry inspired one, kind of leaning more into like my hometown roots and snowboarding and mountain culture. So I think that's what's going to happen.
Nice.
But I'm also working on putting together like a plan for like a collab series that I want to work on throughout the year with other artists in the space.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah,
And
for
in
sure.
terms of like your color palette, because I see you have a very distinct color palette right now for your past series, is that going to change a little bit? Are you keeping that same palette? Or, what are you thinking with that?
No, it'll be a different palette. It'll still be like kind of pastel-y, like vivid, like sunset-y, sunrise sunset hues, but more like just colder feeling. So a little bit more like cool blues and all and like stuff like that, and but still pretty colorful, I would say. But
Nice, man.
I gotta suss it out. I I don't want
Yeah,
to
of course.
release the whole like that. I'm like plant my flag that I'm like doing it until I have like one or two pieces like partially baked, because I don't know. I want to make sure I enjoy doing it and it doesn't feel forced. Because like
No.
each piece takes like a lot of time. I'm spending 10 to 15 hours on each piece minimum. So I just want to make sure I enjoy doing it, because that's the whole point. I would love to work full time off
Yes,
of my
bro.
art, but I don't want to force it or like chase a bag. That's like burned me
You
before.
know, that's something that I had to go through myself, man, and it was tough because for those that don't know, man, I'm at this place now where it's like there's a lot of pressure. And I'm not just talking about NFT, my ODK project, but in general, right? Being in the contemporary fine art world, I had pieces sell for over 7K, 8K, 10K, up to like 35K. And for
Damn.
me, it's like it was dope, right? It's cool. But then when you actually realize, like, yo, these are investments, these are people collecting and they're expecting you to hit like another all time high or create another masterpiece. And so, when you take that on, you realize like what you really got yourself into is like do or die, man. I had to go all in. So, I stressed myself a lot, right? Like I pushed myself too much in the past 2 years when I was in Thailand, trying to progress my art, right? And the development on that it felt like, there was days I had to be really, really disciplined to continue because, I don't want to say I lost the magic, but it's like it wasn't, fun anymore, because I was just pushing myself way too much, trying to, outdo myself every single time, which is not realistic. I came to learn like, yo, I need to go on my own pace. And yes, I'm young for being in that space, but still, like, you know what I mean? Like, I gotta find some joy in it. So that's when I went into the whole NFT side of things, right? It was like an escape for me because I was in the studio like fucking 10-hour days, 12-hour days, and like, it wasn't healthy. Like it was like I needed something else to escape. So when I found Web3, bro, it was like yeah, it gave me life again, right? So I for the past couple months, like after I finished my last commission that I needed to do, I was like, hey man, that's it. Like I'm not taking any other orders, I'm not doing anything else. Like I have enough money to live off for a few months. Like I'm gonna focus on fully Web3 and creating digitals. And so that's what, the whole ODK came to be, right? And I was able to push that much harder because it was so fresh. And I was just like, damn, this is exactly what I needed. And now, man, I'm finding like this really cool balance. It does get tough at times, but where I'm able to transition into, being in the studio and then, other days I'm fully tuned in, just, locked in and loaded like on the computer and stuff. But it's difficult, man. It's like I know I'm in this position where I'm tackling a lot, man. You know what I mean? Between my fine art career, between ODK, and also being in the one-on-one space, like to me, it's like three different avenues, right? So You
But
know, it's just when,
they all have the
yeah.
general umbrella though of fine art,
Yes.
which is really
Yes,
nice.
correct. Yeah. Oh, hell yeah. If they didn't, bro, I'd go mad, right? Because they intertwine, right? Certain things don't work for this side, but then when I bring it onto the other, the other form, it might work. So it's like, okay, so there's a lot of like using stuff that I've done before, right? It's not always having to create new things. And like Ruth said, I mean, I have a full team. You know what I mean? I've been managing a full team for more than half a year now. And before that, I've had two artists that were, working for me under Lyco Fine Arts. So it's like I have like a full studio. But if not, man, it would be completely impossible. Like, there's just no way to do everything by yourself. Which I know you've had some experience dealing with that, right? When you're first starting off, yeah, I'm to be the moderator, the manager, the fucking developer, the creative director. Like, there's so many positions to be filled when doing a project. That being said, bro, is there, if you can go back, what's something like one thing that you would do different, right? If you were to go back and be like, hey, I'm gonna do a project again.
Well, I think the main thing, well, first off, I want to congratulate you on kind of having your main North Star, which is fine art, and betting on yourself early. I mean, that's probably what I should have done from the beginning, is I shouldn't have even tried to do like a, a big NFT project, and I should have bet on myself as like a one of one artist. It's way simpler, and it's way more in your control. And so I just am thinking like, wow, if I had started and put all that energy into what I'm doing now a year ago, I'm assuming
Fuck.
like I probably would already
Yeah, that
have
would have
like
been
100.
beast.
I'd probably already would have had like 100 soul floor, like, because I'm confident in that, and I am confident I will get there. But you have to put in time and like slowly grind your floor up. It's not like you have to get really lucky with like insider like collecting groups, or just work fucking hard, make the best art you can make, and like then market the shit out of yourself by showing up daily on Twitter. And like, I'm just like, man, I should have just done that right off the bat versus trying to build this other side project that was maybe a little forced. Like, I have like 2 tattoos, but I'm not like a tatted up guy. I was just trying to like create something that was quote innovative, and I should have just been focusing on my art. And also, as you know, you've already talked about this, and we both kind of have, is just like not assuming that Web 2 followers are Web 3 buyers, because they're very different. And I didn't
100%.
know that. But like, again, I'm still super grateful to just be in the split in the space, like learning, breaking stuff, losing money, making money. Like, it's just a cool space to be in. Like, literally anyone who's like done trading on Solana, on exchange art the last like 6 months, got airdropped like tokens. Like, where else does that happen where you can just get airdrop tokens that all of a sudden
Are worth a lot. Yeah.
$1,000 in a few days? Like nowhere else do you get that. Like, where it's fun to be like just in this space. Like, obviously you hear like we're early, like stuff like that, but like only 4% of the world of 8 billion people own crypto. So like, long term, like, crypto is
Yeah.
going to be a thing. I don't know if Solana is going to be it. I don't know if Ethereum is going to be the one. There'll be multiple ones, but like, shit, it's fun to be here connecting with people and making art, like, and just going for it. Because like, this opportunity didn't exist like 2 years ago.
No, no doubt, man. Before, a lot of digital artists struggled. You know what I mean? I knew a few that I know one specific that, he's fucking killing it in the real world now, but it took him so many years to get there, right? Because art wasn't looked like, it wasn't, looked upon like, okay, yeah, that's fine art, whether I'm gonna pay X amount of dollars for this digital piece. Like, but now it has completely evolved and changed. And I think a lot of artists are not only finding opportunities, but they're able to create them, right? Before it was very, very hard to be in these groups, get into the know. In the traditional sense, it's like it's a big part of it is like who you know, right? I mean, it's like, yeah, your art can be dope, it can be the best in the world, but if you're not connected, man, it's just, that's just life. It's not fair, but it is what it is, and you gotta find some way to make it happen. And yeah, man, I mean, I think it's really cool that we're seeing that now, that artists don't need to be in the trenches, fucking showing up to all these events, talking to hell of people. Like they're able to sit down in their home, you know what I mean, and connect through a phone and create on their iPad and like be in their pajamas and fucking work when they want.
I well,
Not saying it's not difficult. It is difficult still, but yeah.
it's still a grind. It's just like a different type. I think
Hmm.
what makes me super bullish on this is just like a lot of people are buying one of one art or NFTs or anything as an investment, but like this art world is way like obviously NFTs are like illiquid, meaning somebody has to buy it on the other side versus like if you buy Ethereum, you can then sell it the next day just by hitting sell. Like for an NFT, you have to list it, but like this market is way more liquid than like an actual painting versus if you're buying a painting in a gallery and then you buy it, you have to store it. Then if somebody else wants to buy it from you, you have to then ship this thing. Like
Oh, bro,
just the
it's such a
streamlinedness.
such a
It's such a
process.
streamline. It's such a streamlined tech that, like, of course, this is where people are going to park money for investments. Like, it's so easy. It's a click of a button, and then it's verified on the blockchain, and then then you own that piece. It's not like it's super cool. I mean, and the fact that it opens the door to digital art and just like the types of art that are considered fine art. Because before, my style probably would have been more like, oh, this is an illustration you would do for like a snowboard company or a surf company, but it wouldn't
Hmm.
have been considered quote fine art. But in this world, like, I mean, literally, like anything is art. Like you have like crypto dick bucks or whatever. Like anything is fine art in this world, which is awesome. Like meme culture is huge over here,
No.
but also like there's digital art is like a thing is massive. So I don't know. It's just kind of me. It's very exciting and like I think it's really cool and smart for you to play both lanes, like physical fine artists and like digital fine artists as well. But I want to hear a little bit more about ODK. Like, how big is your team, and what's like long term
Yeah, of
roadmap
course, man.
of the project?
I mean, when I talk about ODK, I always start with like the why. I mean, like why you even brought it to life. So it was due to my own experiences, right? From growing up, having to navigate the world, trying to make a name for myself. I didn't come from money, nothing like that. Everything I had to, hustle for. And I realized I had a skill. I had a skill for art. I had a skill for selling. I wasn't intimidated by people. No matter where they came from. It can be somebody from the hood. You can put me in the fucking boardroom. I wouldn't care. I would treat everybody the same. And I realized that a lot of people respected that, right? So going with my life, I was like, what? All the experiences I've learned, and I've now been blessed to kind of be in this position that I understand is very unique, right? For my age and stuff, I just want to kind of be that doorway and have ODK be that doorway for the creators that are planning to take their careers just as far as I am or even further, right? So there's a lot of things that comes with that, right? There's a lot of things that need to be done correctly. There's a lot of connections that need to be made. And for the most part, that's what I've been doing for the past couple years, right? It's just getting connected more and more and more, and just being that person that can facilitate the next connection for another person, right? And it comes in many ways. So if I had to really sum up what ODK is, man, it's really a community of like-minded individuals who are striving not to just better their careers, whether it be being an artist or a collector, but also kind of like expanding their perspective through consciousness and realizing that we have a lot of the control, you know what I mean? And if we kind of get together and are able to transfer not these ideas and these energy and these connections, and you know what I mean. It's like a lot of stuff is able to build faster, and with people having the same vision, all striving for the same things, which is wanting to be financially free while doing what you love, right? That's a very rare thing to do, right? Because it's like it's hard to get people to realize that you have value, and whatever that you're creating has value enough to be able to live off of it full time, right? So knowing all these things, bro, just through myself, I realized like I have a very, very special opportunity here, not just for me, but for others to kind of ride the same wave that I'm on. And it comes in many ways. It doesn't have to be strictly just fine art. It can be something else, right? It can be like, maybe one of the artists wants to, have their own brand someday, or want to be connected with some brand someday. Like you never know what, which collector of mine or another person's has that connection to be like, hey, this is the intro. I have a guy for you. And so it's through ODK. But
So it's an
long term,
NFT.
bro,
It's like an
yeah,
NFT project based around art and connecting
yes,
and
heavily,
connections.
heavily.
Yeah. And
Yes,
so
because go for it.
does holding the NFT give you access to private group chats or stuff like that? Or is it still kind of open forum? Come hang in the Discord. What does post
It's
mint look
both,
like?
really. So right now we have one collection out, right, which was 55 NFTs, and out of the 55 NFTs, there's 52 or 53 unique wallets holding them, right? And this is uh, the phase that minted out like months ago, before we even had anything, right? It was just an idea, and it was like a vision. And what we did is I personally curated, and like my team curated every single individual to hold, because we were like, hey, this is what you can expect. Like, we're going to be building for a long time. So, you know what I mean? It's like, respect that. If you're down for that ride, cool. If you're not, by all means, you can pass. So we curated this very tight knit group, which we call Wendo Kings, right? And for them, they've been having access to my fine art, right? So it's like whenever I do a drop, or maybe I'll do an art drop, and even now, like, the goal for them is to diversify their portfolio by getting them to acquire physicals in time, right? And with the prices of my stuff going up yearly, I try more and more to have, to give them access to my stuff at a huge discounted rate, or even like as a gift, really. So like, for instance, this past month, what I did is I made a certain physical edition available to them, right, specifically, and they were able to order a print that I'm gonna go ahead and take and embellish on top to make it a 101, raising the value overall, and I'm gonna send it to them. So stuff like that, right? It's like, for now, it's all about getting them access to a lot of art from various artists and different opportunities for them to expand their portfolios. So that's for them, right? And for the upcoming ones, the 2500, the critters, we have a lot of plans. We've been developing this. I don't know if it's a tool. I don't want to call it exactly a tool. More so like
It's more like a
like
database.
yeah, more like a database, right? Because one of the things I realized, from the collector side of things, is keeping up with all the different artists and all the different drops and all the information on who to buy or who's up and coming, who's hot. Like, bro, if you're not in crypto Twitter, it's so freaking difficult to stay up to date with this kind of stuff, right? So this is something that we took into consideration. We're like, hey, let's build something for collectors to make this easier for them, right? So they don't have to spend all this fucking time like trying to find all this research and getting in the know. It's like, instead, they have access to this certain thing that streamlines everything for them, right? And keeps statistics, keeps like up and coming drops. So if they want to, they'll be notified. They'll be better prepared to be able to cop these editions or these drops or whatever. So that's what ODK is bringing after we mint. That's like our main focus right now. But there's also other stuff being developed, because ODK is going to expand much further than Web3. Like Web3 was a place to kind of get the community coming together. It's a really cool place to get these people, you know, connected very fast, and the attention is there. You know what I mean? And so as long as we are constantly thinking about our holders and finding ways to bring value, which we have, we're able to build other stuff on the side, right? That is more towards the Web2 side of things, a little bit more safe, right? It does take a little bit longer to do, but overall, like we want to have that fund the Web3 side. Like we don't want Web3 to be our main like priority in terms of like where we get funding. We want it to be like a sector where we're just having fun and we're creating really dope stuff for creatives and collectors. So it's a long process, bro. It's been in the works for like 8 months or so, but you know what I mean. Now we finally gathered traction in the space. Like I knew that I had to make a name for myself in the one-on-one space in order to get some recognition as an artist, as a founder, as a developer and stuff. So yeah, man, it's a lot, but overall, I think we're doing very very well. Our team is a full team of four, including myself, right? And then we also have three artists that work in house, as in like they're on salary monthly, and you know they're pumping out different kinds of art, whether it be promo, whether it be certain things that I need done for the project. So you know we have, I guess, all in counting, a full team of seven, not including the mods that we have. So yeah, bro, it's been a whole process for sure.
It's awesome,
Yeah,
man.
not to mention
Love
also
hearing about it.
partnered. I can't think of the right word, but basically we also have other people, advisors. That's what it is, advisors as well.
Yeah, yeah, we've had advisors like the whole time. It's one of those things that I was able to be connected with really cool people that are very knowledgeable about the space, even more so than me. So I was like, okay, even better. Like we get consulting, we get advising. You know, we have constant marketing meets. Like it's a full on business, bro. And it's fun. You know what I mean? We're doing what we love, and it's been tough, but it's been fun overall.
That's awesome. I love to hear it, man. Well, I'm excited for your drop later this month. Do you have any other questions? Are we going to do Q&A, anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, if people have any questions, feel free to come up. If not, man, I can definitely ask some more stuff so we can close it out. How much time have we been going, Ru? Has it
We've
been
actually
like an
been
hour or
going
so?
for, yeah, it's almost been an hour. It's about 56 minutes. But I do want to mention that we have a bonk giveaway that we'll be doing. We'll be drawing somebody from in the space. I have a list of names of people who are here, and I'm gonna do a wheel spin. We're gonna give away 7 million bonk.
Nice.
Let's go.
Perfect. So if anybody wants to come up, anybody has a question, feel free, a statement, whatever. If not, I'll go ahead and dive in a little bit more, man. Let's see. What can we know about WD, man? What's all right? Aside from NFTs and all that stuff, what is one of the places that you haven't traveled to that it's on your list, like top two?
Oh, man. There's a lot of spots that I really want to go. I really want to go to northern Peru and do some surfing. That's probably near the top. And I also want to get over to the Philippines as well, just because both of those places I haven't done. I've been to Peru, but never for surfing, and I've never been to the Philippines. So yeah, those are probably the first two that
Yeah,
popped into my
nice,
head.
man.
But so there's so many. I mean, once you kind of crack into the world of travel, and if you get the travel bug, it's kind of like this never-ending addiction. The more you see, the more you want to see. At least for me.
Yeah, it is, man. It is. No, it definitely is. Like, I've only started traveling like the past 3 years, right? And you know, I haven't been back to in the States for, you know, yeah, I guess these 3 years. Like I visit, but overall, I've been living outside. You know, we were in Thailand, now I'm in Mexico, and we definitely plan to do a little bit of traveling here, right? We're just waiting for everything to kind of cool down a little bit.
Yeah. Well, how did you choose Thailand to begin with, and then how did you choose Mexico as well as your next spot?
So Thailand, bro, that's a whole nother story for another day, but I'll keep it short. It was really an opportunity and a risk, right? It was when I was doing art full time, but I was like my own manager, all this stuff. I was paying for my own shows and stuff. And when I met this individual who is now my art dealer, art broker, I guess you can say, mentor, he had invited me to Thailand, right? And he was like the whole reason for me going. It wasn't me like, hey, I want to go to Thailand. It was just like me kind of like going on a limb and seeing if this opportunity was gonna be the right one for me. And it was, man. Like I went for the first time and I visited for like a month and like I came back to the States for like another month, and right away, I decided to move there to kind of be around him, learn, and yeah, I set shop there. I had a full studio, and I was there for like 2 years. But then the whole reason to move to Mexico, I just got tired of it. Like the island life was cool, but like it wasn't for me. Like I would go, I maybe and stay there maybe like 1 or 2 months at the most, but I like to live in the city. Yeah, I like to be around the chaos, like where stuff's kind of like random. People are just doing all kinds of different stuff, right? And so that's why we decided to move to Mexico. I hadn't been here before, like not to Mexico City, but I heard it was very, very cultural. That's like very big with art and stuff, and it is, man. It's very beautiful. Like, and
It's kind,
it's
it's
a
kind of
lot
like
less expensive.
It's kind of like New York of Central America.
Yeah, just not as expensive. It's definitely cheaper, which is kind of nice as well. But yeah, dude, it's been fun. We haven't really explored too much, but when we have, like, it's been amazing. There's definitely a lot more art museums here, like a lot more galleries here. I love to go out and just look at art, right? It's like one of the ways I get inspo. So, not having that in Thailand was kind of difficult, but it's much, much better here now. That's for sure.
That's awesome. I got another question. Are you a pad thai or taco guy?
Honestly, I'm both. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't a huge, huge fan of the Thai food. Like, not all of it, but the pad Thai, I did find this place that made like the best pad Thai, and it was like my go-to breakfast every morning, like every other morning. Um, the caprao, which is like minced chicken, is also really good. You just gotta watch for the spice levels. But I am a taco person too, so I don't know, man. I guess if I had to pick between my best taco that I've had and the best pad thai, I'd probably go taco.
Nice. That's what's up.
What about you?
End of the day, I'd probably go. I could eat tacos more consistently than pad thai. I think that's how I gauge it because I like them both. But yeah, tacos for me.
Hell yeah. Let's see. What's another thing I'd like to know? So you travel like a lot, right? Like you plan to travel quite a bit in the future. Like, how would your ideal life look like in terms of you living your life and then doing art full time? Like, how would that look like for you?
Um, the end goal is to be somewhere seaside and like some sort of community living situation where it's like a compound or a village of like friends and family that's near the ocean, probably abroad somewhere, maybe Portugal or Australia or New Zealand, something like that, and be there like 6 months of the year. And then the other 6 months of the year, seasonal living abroad in probably warmer climates because none of those climates are really like particularly hot.
Yeah,
They're kind of like temperate. So,
yeah.
those other months coming back to the States, visiting family, and then also just like going on proper adventures. I really love getting off the grid for like weeks at a time, getting into the backcountry on river trips or, remote surfing villages, with like where no one's speaking
Bro,
English. Like that shit's crazy to me. And I just love that. Or getting on a sailboat and like sailing to
ah,
different islands and stuff like that. Like,
I can't
adventures
wait, man. I
and
can't wait
pushing
to
my,
do that as well.
yeah, it's kind of exciting to think about, but like, the nomadic lifestyle is really awesome, but also it's a little hard because I don't have like a quote home base. Like when I'm in Seattle, I'm literally living in the basement at my parents' girlfriend's house, and like they're awesome, and like we're all like a family and we get along and stuff. But like it's not like my own space. Like I want to have my own studio. I
Yeah.
want to be able to like throw paint at the wall. I want to like bump loud jams and like smoke weed all night with homies and like I want to have like just to be able to expand a bit. But like it's a
ODK.
patient it's a patience game.
Nah, yeah, man. Like one of the goals is definitely that. Like, honestly, like my big dream with everything, I know it takes step by step, but I eventually want to have like a ODK HQ, right? Where, creatives can live there, and it's just kind of like this fucking dope ass place where we're all just bouncing ideas off of each other and like creating stuff, right? While ODK is thriving. Like for me, long term, I just want to be around creatives, right? And that doesn't mean just artists, because creative thinking comes in many different forms. But to me, like that's where I find my fulfillment. Like it's not the money, it's not, being able to just paint for a living, it's not being in one certain space. It's about being around people that kind of like inspire me, right? Through the creative arts. So for me, that would be like a dream come true. And that's like what I'm striving for. Like the whole thing, with our art, like the ODK bunker, right? Having these kids with these multiple gifts all coming around, and, it's like superpowers, all that stuff. Like, I'm a kid at heart, bro. So it's like I'm trying to keep that alive as much as possible. Um,
It's like
but yeah, man, being
Peter
able to
Pan
do
Art
that,
Club.
yeah, yeah, exactly. But instead, but we get paid. What I mean, everybody's cool, and we're just kind of expanding and becoming like a fucking. I don't know, man. I don't even know what it's gonna become. I just know it's gonna be huge. But yeah, dude, I'm super stoked for it. I've actually been to New Zealand, by the way, which is, man, it's fucking amazing.
Yeah, New
I was
Zealand's
there for like a
beautiful.
month. Yeah, dude, like flying in, just seeing the land, you're just like, what the fuck is this? Like everything's so green and beautiful, like everything's just like sim like, right? I'm like, dude, this is not real.
Well,
Um,
if anyone who's seen Lord of the Rings, which is pretty much everyone, you know what New Zealand looks like. The North Island is
yeah,
like the Shire, and like Mordor and stuff. That's all like the South Island, like the big jagged mountains and stuff. So, what island were you on?
I was actually in Queenstown.
Nice. It's awesome, man.
Yeah, yeah, it was cool.
I love to hear about the ODK vision too, man. That's super exciting, and it is. Once you show up for Mint Day, and if you guys raise the funds, I think that'll be really cool, like injection to like pushing the brand to the next level, and realize that like even if it doesn't happen, which I think it will in your case, um, the vision can happen in some sort of way, whether the Mint is a quote success or not.
Yeah, 1000%, man. Like this is one of the things that I'm like fortunate enough, and I'm, thankful of being connected and like with you guys, and you guys telling me your story, and like learning from the space itself, right? Like I'm trying to learn as much as possible to kind of be prepared for anything really. So it's at the end of the day, it's a mindset, and anything can happen. There's all variables and stuff. So for me, it's just about getting up and just going for it every single day. So whether we mint out or we get half or we get a third or whatever, like we're not gonna stop, right? I'm gonna fucking figure it out. Luckily enough, like for these first couple of months, I was able to fund it myself, right? For the most part. So, it's all right, So anything on top of what we get this next phase, it'll just help out. So at the end of the day, what I mean, it's like my life's work, bro. It's what I want to do. So whether they're mints out or not, like fuck it, I'm still gonna be here. Uh, but yeah, is there any? All right, we'll close it out on this. Is there what form of advice would you give me? Like me being in this position now, like what can you tell me?
I would say um, trust your developer. Make sure they're not going to like wire whatever. Even if you mint 200, all of a sudden, if the developer, like whoever's building the minting site, has access to the back end, so you have to make sure you trust them 100% because you can get rugged. Like they can run off with the funds, and then you've just done all this work, and the devs
Yeah.
run off with the money. So make sure you really trust your developer. Beyond that, I would say like kill all expectations, because if you have an expectation to mint out or mint half, it's just super hard to know till the mint day. Expect something to go wrong on mint day, like whether the mint button doesn't work or people are starting to fudge your project or whatever. Like just like stay calm in that situation and have like test it, like rather than be like, okay, now we're going to go live. Like one thing could be off in the code and the dev test button works but the live button doesn't. That can kill momentum. So like make sure you've like dotted your I's and crossed your T's in that sense. Other
Awesome,
than
bro.
that, just appreciate the fact that you even get to go for something like this, and like your vision's going to come to life whether this happens or not. Like ODK is like a well-known brand already. It's got like dope branding. You're kind of backing this project, which is super cool, and you can like tell how passionate you are about it. And I think that will go a long ways. It doesn't feel like this forced like cash grab. You're like a front-facing artist that's very credible. So I think just like enjoy it, go for it, enjoy the rush, and expect something to go wrong.
Much love, brother. That means a lot. And yeah, for those that don't know, man, in the beginnings, I was fighting with my art dealer a lot because at the end of the day, I am putting my fine art career on the line with this. You know what I mean? Because if this goes south and it gets out there, it is gonna taint my name to some degree. So yeah, I'm all in, bro. Like, there's literally no going back. Like, this kind of like needs to go a certain way. You know what I mean? And I'm confident in myself and the team that even if it doesn't happen right away, it will happen eventually, right? So it's just a matter of time. But yeah, man, I really appreciate the advice that goes a long way because I mean, you know by experience, it's a tough game.
Yeah, you got it, man. Keep at it. And I think like you're gonna find success, and like it like mints don't have to happen in a day. You know?
That's so true. Yeah.
Like there's like just, you know, we're not in the peak FOMO cycle. Like this can be a few week mint. Like that's not like a problem. Just
Yeah,
like
so
stay committed.
actually, I do want to let you know, we do plan on having a pre-sale as well through Helio. We have everything, we're setting everything up, but our people who are dope listed, we're gonna do it probably a week or two before mint. We haven't decided the exact logistics of it quite yet, but essentially you'll be able to pre-sale your pre-order your critter, and so that that way it can kind of just like help people know like, okay, there's some interest in this project. Obviously people are wanting it because some already sold. So
Yeah, yeah. Like, we're
100%.
really
I would say just don't discount it. We did another project I like advised on and helped with art. We like gave away 1/5 of the supply, and as soon as they minted, they undercut the floor during mint, and that kills the project momentum as well. So just keep
no,
that in
yeah,
mind too.
yeah, good. Yeah, definitely, man. Um, 21. I see you came up to the stage. Is there something you want to say? You have a question you want to ask? Feel free to ask away right now, bro. Come on through.
Yeah, man. Appreciate the spaces and everything like that. I hope you guys are having a good day. Um, I'm very new to the one of one art space. I joined ODK's Discord back through DeFi District, and I've been watching you, Lyco, throughout your journey so far and everything like that. So, um, very, very excited to see the Critters mint happen. I was able to get dope listed on that, so I'm pumped for that. And WD,
Hell yeah.
I've been just looking at your art throughout this space as I've been listening, man. I really, really like your style and everything like that. I just want to know, man. You guys finna collab or do something crazy soon, or maybe maybe a Critters collab or something like that, dude. I think your styles would mesh pretty well. So, just my 2 cents in it. But like I said, very new to the one of one art scene. Trying to get as much information as possible, and trying to make some good decisions and everything like that. But really pumped for this Critters, man, bro.
Much love, man. Really appreciate it. And yeah, this is one of the things that I want to make known to the public. Like when it comes to doing collabs and all this stuff, like I like to approach it in a very organic way. You know what I mean? I like to, actually talk to the person, get to know the person as much as possible before even bringing anything up because, it's one of those things like with WD, like I know something's going to happen eventually, right? It's just a matter of the how. But like, I was more interested in like getting to know his character, like what's his vision. You know what I mean? Like his art is fucking amazing, and a lot of these artists have really, really fucking amazing art. But at the end of the day, it's like I like to know why they're doing art in the first place, right? Like what their goal is, like what do they want to do? Because it just allows me to kind of like have ODK connected with the people that are actually striving to do something more than just getting a few dollars here and there, right? So that being said, I would definitely love to do some form of collab with WD. So yeah, man, let's make it happen for sure. I think it'd be
Let's
amazing.
do it if he's down.
I'm
Yeah.
down, you guys, definitely, and here to support like the ODK crew, and I will also, in reverse, collab for collab. This project that I'm kind of brewing up currently and sending out mid-month. I would love to send the deck your way. I think I'm trying to work with like
Ooh.
69 different artists in the Solana space and the Ethereum space, and have it
Oh
live under
shit.
this like umbrella project of collabs. And it's I don't want to give too many more details, but yeah, more info on that, and I would love to collab with you guys.
Yes, please
100%.
shoot over
You
those
already
details.
know, man. You already know.
And thanks
Beautiful thing.
and thanks for scoping the art 21. I think with one of one art, um, I would say if you're buy what you like and support the artists you connect with, like learn about like, not beyond the art, learn about why they're making the art, make sure it's not like just some AI art that somebody's pumping up and then rugging, like just make sure that you connect with it, because at the end of the day, even if like the value of it doesn't go up or anything crazy, like this cool collection of digital collectibles, so make sure like you vibe with it, because like that's cool that you can like curate your own
Yeah.
collection of digital art. So I think starting there, and then like bet on
Yeah.
people of art that you like.
100%, man. And to add on to that, like the way we approach it in One Do Kids is like, first of all, we want to know like, okay, what's your reason for collecting? I mean, it can be, both investment or even just like you trying to dip your toes. So it's just a matter of like your risk tolerance, right? So for instance, somebody that's coming in to kind of build a digital portfolio, we would navigate them and put forth like more secure artists that have known to be in the space and doing well, right? Like the John Lay, the High Blinks, they're a little bit more pricey, of course, but you know what I mean? You can get away with copying a few editions here and there and stuff like that. But for those who are just purely collecting for the art or are like looking to get the next upcoming artist before they have their moment, well, they were able to do that as well, right? Just by being in the space, being connected, and having these relationships and stuff. So that's kind of like the beauty of being in this community as well. It's like getting access to this info and being guided to like, okay, what do you want to do? Like, how do you want to collect? And for the most part, bro, like we've had a lot of success from seeing a lot of these individuals from the generative side come into the one-on-one space and like having first of all a lot of fun with collecting, getting in touch with these artists, building personal relationships, and not only that but seeing their some of their cops like go up in value. Like for instance, we had one of our kings that copped, our collaborative critter a few weeks back that Tanaker did, right? And yeah, I think he got it for like 35 or 37 so, right? Something like that. And like 2 weeks later, somebody had offered him 150 so for it, and which he denied. He was like, nah, like I'm gonna hold on to it. But just to see that, these type of things happen within our community is really fucking dope. But yeah, like we're trying to do the most that we can to facilitate more and more people with like learning how to collect, and not only that, but like why they're even collecting in the first place, to kind of make it the whole process a little bit better for them. So yeah, I just wanted to add that in there real quick. That being said, man, I think we can go ahead and start closing this out. I think we've been running it for like an hour 15, hour 20, something like that.
Yeah, it's been an hour 20 minutes, and I just want to thank you all for staying tuned with us this whole time, and WDU as well for coming up and just sharing your story and all the advice you've given us as well. It's been very insightful space in my opinion, and I truly appreciate you being here.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
man.
pull this winner real quick for this 7 million bonk.
Let's
So
do it, man.
I went ahead and I got everybody's name who's in the space right now, and I'm gonna spin it on
Is
this
there a
wheel.
drum?
But it's gonna be spinning, so you can drum roll it up if you'd like.
All right. I think
All
I
right.
just
Well,
did.
no
I?
drum roll, but our winner is Tronics. So Tronics,
Hey, that's
go
what's
ahead,
up.
reach out to us in DMs. Shoot us your wallet address, and we'll shoot that bonk over to you after this space. And yeah, I just want to say thank you all once again for being here. Go ahead, look at the pinned tweets before we close out the space. There's a bunch of information up there if you want to learn more about ODK, or even if you want to go get yourself an honorary critter. We have one up on auction, and it ends in about an hour. So go check it out.
Oh yeah, there's 40 minutes left. It's currently at 26 so. Okashi by Articude. Oh man, this is fun, bro. I love that cyborg arm on this one. It's just sick. But yeah, thank you everybody for tuning in, and we'll catch you on next week's Creative Mind Space. Much love to everybody.
See you, everybody.
Peace.
Thanks, guys.
Have a great
Appreciate
weekend, and stay dope.
Peace.